How to get a top tier girl.
Oh God, did I say this? Is this mine?
Yes. I'm sorry, it is. How to get a top tier girl. Number 1, get in shape.
Yeah.
Number 2, get rich.
Yep.
Number 3, don't be a dick.
Pretty good advice. So the second one, so get in shape. I highly recommend. Like the first thing, like strongly recommend for young guys. Like for the love of God, get in shape. It'll never be easier. You'll never have more time. I had one of my sales guys who I said, dude, I don't see you at the gym. And he said, I'm just really busy. And I just like looked at him and I was like, you will never have more time and less responsibility than you do now. So I kind of used the James Clear thing. I said, hey, if you can't make it work now, accept that you're never going to be in shape for the rest of your life. Mm-hmm. He was like, whoa. I was like, think about it.
Rid yourself of the desire.
Yeah. I was like, you're just never going to be in shape. He was like, whoa. I mean, that I was like, right. So do it or don't, but stop wanting it. And so, back to that point. So I think that getting in shape just dramatically enhances the people that you can hang out with. Like, and I have this belief from humans in general. All humans at ideal body weight and like normal levels of musculature are almost all attractive. Like at like a 1 or 0 binary scale of attractive, like almost all humans are, just purely physically. And so like, just don't have that be a constraint for you. Like, don't have it be a negative at the very least, right?
I've got this limitation and that limitation and another limitation. It's like, okay, so you're just adding another?
Yeah. I think Peterson said something like, they say they're depressed. He's like, well, you're living in your mom's basement, you're unemployed. It's like, you didn't give yourself a chance. Now, if you're in shape, you're rich, you do all these, you've achieved whatever you've achieved, doesn't have to be rich, but you've achieved whatever you want to achieve. If you're still depressed, then we can talk about it. But until then, you haven't even given yourself a shot. I can't find girls. Well, are you any of these basic things? No. Well, then do that first. The rich thing is more, I mean, obviously for me, I think Professor G. Galloway said this. It's more about the signal that you have the ability to gain resources more than having them. And so like, if you think about trust fund kid, now there is the element of having money, which does for sure, there are girls who just want the money. But if you compare that to the young, hungry guy, I don't know if they win in a head-to-head, right? And
it's the same reason that the starving artist sleeping on his friend's couch, but who's got lots of upside potential is attractive.
Yeah.
It's like, but he fucking has one guitar and a pair of boots to his name. Like, how is that? Well, but
so did Dylan.
look at the predictors that I'm seeing here. Look at the fucking early onset alarm warnings of something potentially great in his future.
Yeah. So get in shape, signal that you are ambitious and that you plan on pursuing whatever it is that you're going after. And then finally, it's just don't be a jerk. Like, I'm not saying you have to be the world's sweetest whatever, but just don't be a dick. If you do those 3 things, like you'll be able to get whatever girls you want.
What does don't be a dick consist of?
Great question. So it would probably be the behaviors that, so that is a bucketed term for many behaviors underneath of it. That basically would just decrease the likelihood that a girl would want to continue to fraternize with you. But like, specific, it's like, and I think that'll also depend on the girl, to be real. Some girls might prefer this. So whatever your target girl is, she probably has a bucket of behaviors. Now that's different than do what she wants. Very different. Is there something that is non-negative to me that is beneficial to her? Do as many of those things as you can.
It's interesting as well that it probably means you need to ensure that the kind of girl that you want to be with and the kind of behavior that you want to have around her will often align, because those 2 things might not. You might want to be a really distant, I'm just going to work on myself kind of guy, but you might want a very forthcoming, very caring sort of woman, and you have really reduced down your mating pool if those 2 things don't tend to correlate. And I'm going to guess that they don't. If you want a really forthcoming, very caring woman, I'm going to guess that she's going to kind of expect that sort of interaction in reverse. And if you're not prepared to give that, it's like, rid yourself of the desire, or you're going to have to change your preferences, or you're going to have to change your behavior. One of the 2.
Worth bringing up early if you are on this, like, I would like to find somebody trained. This is something that worked exceptionally well, which is I and I think our first or second date, I just said up front all the non-negotiables that I had. Which, to be clear, this isn't the like red flags, whatever thing. It's just like, I work a lot. I will not sacrifice that. If that is a problem, then this will not work, and that is okay. I just want to be upfront that these are the things. Like, I work out, I will do that. I'm not going to give that up. I will not give that up for anyone. And so, like, just stating those things, and I would say, like, because people have this, like, they want to put on a show, right? They peacock. They have to do the mating dance, and I have to, present myself in a way that's different than I currently am. But I would say over time, the less you can make the discrepancy between how you're, quote, acting or performing and who you are at baseline for that person, the better it's going to be long-term, because they're going to find out eventually. And so they might as well find out up front, and then you can just say triage.
I've said this a bunch of times, but I went through a breakup at the start of last year, 3.5-year relationship, and I was like, okay, I'm back in the dating world, very different person, very different environment, so on. And I did the sort of intellectual equivalent of a shit test, which was, early on, I would start sending them Psychology Today articles and weird Substack posts and stuff, just to see, are we going to have it at some point when we next catch up? Are we going to have a discussion about this? Yeah. Because this is the sort of thing that's interesting to me. And I don't see this going away, at least for a little while. I imagine the next decade of my life, or maybe for the rest of my life, I'm going to be reading stuff and learning about human nature. And I think it's important to me to be able to talk about this with my person.
Oh, this is really good. So what you just said reminded me of a speech that Horowitz gave, Ben Horowitz. He talked about not pursuing your passion as a career choice. And one of the main arguments that he makes is that your passions will change. He said the things when you're really passionate when you're 20 aren't be the things that you're passionate when you're 40. And to link that to something that Jeff Bezos talks about, which is when asked, hey, what do you think the future of Amazon is going to look like? He said, people always want to know what is going to change. He said, I think it's far more valuable to think what is not going to change. And I think that if you're trying to find a mate, you really want to find the fewest common denominators, like what things will not change about me over a long period of time. If you happen to be in a stint that you're really into fencing or whatever, that may change. And I think that's where, like, in some ways, it lowers the bar for the, quote, perfect match, because trying to find the perfect match today versus that same match 50 years from now, virtually impossible. And so if we accept that many of the things that are surface level today are going to disappear on a longer time horizon, then there's only going to be the few things that actually matter, which are going to be, what are the behaviors under duress, right? What are the core things about myself and my behavior set that I find it unlikely that will change over a long time horizon?
What are the things that are predictive of the things that end up manifesting? Like, what is it that underpins this? What are the foundations?
And so I think that if you can, and it's probably just a handful of big rocks rather than hundreds of pebbles. And so when girls have and guys too, right, have the big list of like the 100 things that I can never have, it's like, you probably should have 3 that you must, and then kind of ignore the rest, because that's the game.